Hey everyone, I'm Justin with AmericanTrucks.com, and today we're going to be diving into and installing the race version of MBRP's ArmorLite single exit exhaust setup, available for your 2021 and newer 3.5-liter EcoBoost F-150, excluding the Tremor and the Raptor. Now you guys should be checking out the ArmorLite system from MBRP if you're looking to go big but would prefer to stick to a budget. Now I say that because this is going to be one of the most affordable ways to really crank the sound on your EcoBoost F-150 at home while sticking with that single tailpipe configuration. Now I will caution owners who live in snowy or salty areas with this particular system, and we'll get into the why I say that later in the video. But first up, let's just dive into the sound. Now, as you guys heard with our sound clips at the top of our video here, the MBRP Race single exit system is definitely bringing a decent amount of bark overall, but more importantly, a nice deep tone. And that is one of my favorite things here about this particular system, especially when we're talking about a truck like the EcoBoost, because let's face it, those kind of higher pitched, raspy tones of other more aggressive systems can be a bit much for some owners. So what does this all mean at the end of the day? Well, breaking out my Wake the Neighbor scale. Again, this is the race system, guys, so it's certainly not going to be quiet. Solid 4 out of 5 on my 1 to 5 or 1 to Wake the Neighbor scale, as the race profile, again, is a bit more aggressive, and a lot of the customer reviews, by the way, back that up. Definitely check up on some of those if you haven't done so already. Now, I will say, while this is a more aggressive system overall, that deeper tone that we referenced earlier is going to keep it out of the 5 out of 5 territory. Now, that aggressive tone does tend to creep inside the truck a little bit, certainly under hard acceleration. Again, that is also noted in some of the customer review section, but I will say the aggressiveness tends to fade a little bit above 60 miles an hour while cruising on the highway. Now, this being said, guys, a word of caution for the heavy towers out there. I know a lot of you guys do a lot of heavy pulling with your EcoBoost. That additional load that you will be seeing when you are towing something heavy, that is going to bring a bit more of that boominess inside the cab, throughout the rev range, really. So definitely keep that in mind if you do tow frequently and you don't want to hear that extra boominess inside the cab while pulling. Now, getting into the construction a bit more here, guys, this is really a great time to break down the ArmorLite name and specifically talk about the point I made earlier with this maybe not being a great option for truck owners who live in a snowy or salty area. Now, I say that because the ArmorLite system from MBRP is their entry-level system, if you will, in regards to material. It will utilize the aluminized steel build, which again is great for keeping that cost down, but it's not going to be so great at reducing long-term corrosion, especially in those snowier climates that do see things like a lot of road salt, of course. Now, because of that, MBRP is only going to throw a 3-year warranty at this system, as opposed to a full lifetime warranty that you will see with MBRP's Armor Plus or Armor Pro, both of which will be full stainless here on the site. You can find them as well. Obviously, they will command a little bit more money at the end of the day, but you are getting a more durable material. But materials aside, all of those systems I just talked about, the ArmorLite, the Armor Plus, and Armor Pro, they're all essentially going to sound the same because they are essentially the same outside of the materials used. So keep that in mind. I wouldn't expect a different sound profile from maybe the ArmorLite, which we have here, to the Armor Pro. Now, getting a little bit deeper into that construction, we talked about going big earlier. Well, that's because this system does utilize that 4-inch mandrel bent tubing. In this case leading into and out of that high performance straight through MBRP Race Series muffler. And it really does kind of help shape the sound here while still allowing for plenty of volume. Now the exclamation point, in my opinion, comes in the form of this absolutely massive 5-inch tip exiting in the factory location. Now the tip itself here, we talked about the rest of the system being aluminized steel, kind of prone to corrosion. The tip is 304 grade stainless steel, which, let's face it, that's the part you're gonna see the most of. So even if you're not worried about a little surface corrosion on the tubing, you can rest assured that the tip will look essentially brand new for the life of your truck. Now the system does also include some real nice band clamps to be used to put everything together, of course. And one more time, it does give you the hangers, and everything will exit out of your factory location behind that passenger side rear tire. Moving into our pricing segment here, guys. Again, this is where the Armorlite really is going to shine. If you don't need the corresponding lifetime warranties, you don't need, the really corrosion-resistant stainless material, you can save a whole lot of money, as this system is going to cost you about mid to high $400 range. The MBRP aluminized stuff is consistently one of the most affordable options in the category, and same can be said for the Race Series that we have here today. Now, if you do live in upstate New York or the Rust Belt or somewhere that does see a lot of road salt, I would strongly consider stepping up a level into the Armor Plus system. Still pretty affordable overall, maybe another 100 to 200 bucks on top of this system, but you do get that better material and corresponding lifetime warranty. But all right, guys, now let's switch gears, talk a little bit more about the installation. Site's gonna call this a middle of the road 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you a couple of hours or so to complete from start to finish. But now we're gonna throw it out to the guys in the shop for our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
For this install, you'll need various impacts, a ratchet, some extensions, 8mm Allen socket, 10, 13, and 15mm sockets, tape measure, a marker, a hanger removal tool, a metal cutting tool, angle grinder, and also not shown here is a pole jack and an extra set of hands to help you get your factory setup off. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing an exhaust on our F-150, so let's get started. So we've got the truck up in the air, and the first thing we're going to need to do is remove our factory setup. We're going to start with our 15mm clamp here at our flex pipe. So we're going to grab our 15mm socket on our impact and loosen this up. So we'll come up here and loosen this clamp. Next, we can unbolt the brackets for our 2 hanger isolators here on our frame rail. For that, we're going to use our 10mm socket extension on our ratchet. Break these loose first. And you want to hold on to this hardware when you remove it. Next, we're going to remove our hanger isolator for our muffler section. And the easiest way to do that is to use your 10mm socket and extension on your impact and unbolt it. Now, we do have a pole jack underneath our muffler to help support it. And once you have it unbolted, it does have a tab on the other side. Just have to lower this pole jack down a bit, get that out of its seat. Make sure that's free and clear. Now we can unbolt our rear hanger bracket section, again with our 10 mil socket and extension on our impact. There is also a bolt on the inside of the frame rail. You want to support your exhaust when you do this. Now we can come up to our 2-bolt flange and remove the two 13mm bolts holding that in place. Now we do have an extra set of hands at the rear of the exhaust because once we unbolt this, we'll bring this back and take it out of the truck. We've got our 13mm socket and extension on our impact. We'll get these out. We're going to hold on to these bolts. Once we clear the cross member, we can bring the front of our exhaust down, get the tail over the axle. Alrighty guys, so now that we have our factory system off, there's a few things we need to do before we can install our new setup onto the truck. Now the first of which being to refer to the manufacturer included instructions on whether or not you need to use and or cut your extension pipe. For example, we have a Super Crew with a 6.5 foot bed, so according to that, we're going to need to cut our extension pipe down to 15 inches. So we're going to grab our tape measure and a Sharpie and mark that out. So mark out 15 inches from the slip joint side, not the regular end. We're going to mark this in a few spots around our pipe. This makes it much easier when cutting. Now once you have this all marked out, you're going to use whatever metal cutting tool that you have at your disposal. We have a chop saw, so we're going to go over to that, set this up, and get it cut down to size. Now we've got our pipe set up and lined up with our blade. We'll go ahead and cut it off, and you definitely want to make sure to always wear at least eye protection when cutting metal. Now we'll take this back over and get all the burrs cleaned up. Now we're going to use our grinding wheel to clean up all of the burrs on the outside and the inside. You want to make sure you get those as well, because even the smallest bit can affect your sound quality and flow, and we don't want that. So we'll grind all this off. Okay. Next thing we'll need to do is grab 3 of our factory hanger brackets off of our original setup. We got our hanger removal tool. We're going to grab one of the two 2-bolt brackets. It doesn't matter which one, but the one before the flex pipe is not colleted, so it's easier to get off. And then our muffler hanger bracket as well as our tail section. So we'll go ahead and pop those off. Next we'll grab our muffler clamp, or muffler bracket rather. Followed by our tail. Now we're ready to start installing our new system, and we're going to start with our mid pipe. So we're going to put our new flange onto our factory 2-bolt flange and reuse those 13mm factory bolts. We'll get it over our cross member. Get it lined up, and we'll get our 2 bolts in place. We're not going to fully tighten these just yet. We're going to get them snug enough to hold our mid pipe in place. Once we have them both on, we'll grab our 13mm socket and extension. just run these down. We're not going to fully tighten them. You do want to alternate your sides when tightening these to keep your flange straight. Next, we'll get our extension pipe in place. So we'll grab a provided clamp, slide that onto our mid pipe. Get our extension pipe on, make sure that gets fully seated into our slip joint. Get our clamp in place over our slip joint. Again, we're just going to snug this for now, using our 15 mil socket on our impact. You want to make sure this clamp is pretty much flush with the end of our slip joint. Next, we can reinstall that first hanger bracket that we removed. Now we're going to go to the rear mounting point, which is these two clip holes here. We'll reuse our factory 10 millimeter bolts. Get both of these in. And tighten this down with our 10 mil socket. Now we can install our hanger clamp. So you want the rod facing towards the back of the vehicle. Get this over our extension pipe, bring it back far enough to get it lined up with our isolator. Get that through. Now we can install our muffler. So we've got a pole jack here to help hold it. We'll get this up in position. Just slip onto our extension pipe. We'll get our clamp over it. This part might be a little bit tricky at first. We may need to loosen this a hair. You can adjust as needed if you are using a pole jack. Looks like we need to loosen that just a bit. Again with our 15 mil socket. Get that over. It's okay if that comes out for a minute. So if it does come out, you just need to push down on your clamp. Get the nut through the large end. Make sure your washer goes through as well. Once you've got that reconnected, slide this back flush with our slip joint. And again, we'll grab our 15 mil socket and snug this down. Now we can get our outlet pipe in place. So we're going to grab that second hanger bracket that we removed and install that onto our hanger rod. We're going to grab another clamp, put that over our muffler outlet. Also going to grab another one of those factory 10 mil bolts. We'll get this slipped into our muffler outlet. Use our pole jack to bring this up. Make sure you line, you want to make sure you get your tab back into your cross member. We'll reinstall our 10 millimeter bolt. Get that started. We'll grab our 10mm socket on our ratchet and tighten that down. Next, we'll snug down our outlet clamp, again with our 15mm socket. Next, we can install our tail section, so we'll begin by sliding another one of our clamps over our muffler outlet. Then you want to get that last tail hanger we took off onto our new hanger. Get this up and over our axle. Get our slip joint lined up. Make sure that gets fully seated. Now we'll grab 2 more of our factory 10mm bolts. Get our tail hanger back in place. Don't forget the one on the inside of your frame rail as well. We'll tighten down this bottom one first to get it up in position. Again with our 10mm socket. Now this one is hard to see. You want to get that inside frame rail bolt back in. Now we'll snug down our over axle clamp. Now we can get our tip installed. We'll get that over our tail section. And it has an 8mm Allen bolt to tighten it down, so we've got our 8mm Allen socket on our impact. We'll go ahead and tighten this down. Make sure that doesn't move around at all. Now once you have everything in place, you want to make sure nothing's going to be hitting or rubbing anything and causing any damage. And once you've made sure that's good, we'll go ahead and fully tighten down all of our clamps. So we've got our 15mm socket. We'll start tightening these down. We'll get our muffler inlet and hanger clamp. Now we'll fully tighten down our 2 13mm flange bolts. Again with our 13mm socket and extension. Remember to alternate sides when tightening these. Alrighty guys, that about wraps up our review and install of our MBRP Armor Light single exhaust system in the race version and side exit for your 21 Nura 3.5 liter EcoBoost F-150, excluding the Raptor and Tremor. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.